like we have discussed about how the weights metrics are there, like how there are interconnections between like each cell to each other cell in a different layer. So this is how like we have discussed, right? Like and finally we also try to compute from input till output relation. So finally this is what we have. But actually, in if you take like, this is like what we have explained is a single layer network, right? Only have a single layer here, like with single hidden layer actually. So because like first one is an input layer, second one is a hidden layer, and third is an output layer. So but if you take while you are using this for a project, okay, so what you have is like yes. So what you can have is something like this. Let's say this input. So and you have multiple layers here, and it can be like many, like this is a kind of hyperparameter which you have. So I'm drawing only few. Okay, so let's have this way. So number of cells for each layer and number of layers both are hyperparameter now. So like you have to for different values and see like what is giving an optimal value, and finally take that. So but there are like few thumb rules, like how you can take keep these values, but that we'll talk at later stage. But like what these are is like each cell, like how many cells should be there. It is layer, like how many cells should be there. It is an hyperparameter, as well as number of layers again is one more hyperparameter which you can change. Depending on that, you can modify your neural network and get a better values. So but one more thing, so if you add like more layers, right, what is happening is, so these weights, like previously if you take this one, like where you have only four four cells in one layer and it's a single layer, you have like 16 weights here. Okay, and fine. So but when you increase like don't you think like weights are actually indirectly give you the complexity of your work, right? So this is how we have seen previous things as well. So similarly, as you start increasing the number of layers as well as number of your cells in a layer, like but just by adding one more cell, I think we have seen it here that it went to 20 weights. Like I think we had discussed about it in last session. So from 16 it went to 20 weights. So just by increasing like a single unit, you will have so many weights increase. Okay, so similarly if you add one more layer, it may even double or triple. So it may increase like enormously. So this is how it is done. So now let's discuss about like previous. Now we have discussed like how it is done. Right now let's try discussing about like how to optimize the model. Like this is the one major thing, right? Like what you have is like you any model what you have. So the optimization is needed, and from that you'll be adjusting the weights, right? So if you can see in the last session, we have done it manually. Like we tried to uh, try to get the output what is expected by changing the weights manually, right? So same way now it we'll see like how it can be done through algorithm. Okay, so let's see this. So before seeing that, like let's also fix to one naming convention, and then use the same always. Okay, so okay, so if you can take this, right, so let me follow a notation here. Like let's follow a standard notation. So this works on two kinds of principle. Like let's say here, as I said before, like each one will be like connected to each other, right, this way, and like each of them like this. So what will happen is just that like your like values from your input are going in this direction, right? So it will go to layer, let's write it as layer 0, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4. Okay, so from layer 0, it your information from your input is propagating this way. and layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, and this way, and finally we get an output. Okay, so this is how it is done. So where it is going forward, right, the information is going forward, so we call this as forward propagation. Okay, so similarly, like there will be backward propagation also, that we'll discuss like while we come to that topic. So let's try to like have a simpler model, and again try to get the mathematical relation. It will be slightly in a different way. Like previously we tried to explain it in a matrix format, but it will be slightly different now. So let me use this. Like this is an input layer, and then let's say this is first layer, layer 1, layer 2, output, like just like how we have used before, right? So this is input from here. So I'm not drawing all the interconnections, but let me like okay, give it like w1, which says like where you are connecting the inputs. This is, let's call it like layer 0, layer 1, layer 2, this is layer 3. Okay, so for w1 are the metrics like which connects from layer 1 cells to layer 0 to layer 1 cells. Okay, means like you can elaborate it by like w11, w12, something like that, just like how we did earlier. Similarly, like this is one more thing, like where you do the connections here, these we call it as a matrix. Similarly for this, so let's call it w2, w3. Okay, so this w1 is something like this big matrix is there, right? So this is the w1. Similarly, when you do it for the second case, like that will be w2. When you do it for the third case, that is w3. Okay, let's take that way. So where your inputs are here. Okay, so these are your inputs. So few go with the name convention of like calling it like A0, means like it's at input zeros, and what value you have in at this cell, like while after computation, you call it like A1. Similarly, what values you have like at this level, you can call it A2. Okay, so similarly A3. So this is how like let's use the so okay, so now you have a forward here. Let's write the equations from like how the relation is. So let me write that. So let's input here is what, A0, right? So means like I'm generalizing it with A0 actually is a matrix which will have this A01, A02, A03, A04 as well. So but I'm generically writing it as A0, which is again a matrix form. Okay, so now like when you come here, so where what will happen, there will be an adding of like weight, and then you have an addition of bias, right? So for simplicity, let's only represent with the weights. Actually, like it will also have uh, okay. So what you have at second input, like this is the values at this cell, right? Similarly, let's see what you have at A1. So A1 actually, like as we discussed, it will be like W1 A0 plus B, right? So something similar to this, like put a B1 in case. So this is a function, right? But apart from this, what will we will have is like just like this, like every cell can have a kind of an activation function. Like previously we discussed about activation function here, right? So these cells have an act for this cell we added one more activation function. Where is it? Yeah, here, like this. So similarly, everything can have an activation function that should also be represented. So let me add that like instead of doing it like this, let me represent it as like f of A0. Okay, and w1 as well. So let me represent it this way. So actually this is something like when this function will be something like your w1 a naught plus b. Inside that, like, you have a condition. It will check for condition if it is greater than or equal to 2, something like this, what we had before, right? So this is your condition. So instead of writing this way, like, we are actually representing it in a form of function. Okay, let's do it that way. And okay, so let me write it like this. So instead of writing it that way, let me write it a1 equal f of w1 a naught. Okay, similarly, like, go to the second layer, a2 equal to this activation function can be different from the second activation function, so I'm writing it f1 f2 like this. Okay, so this one can be w2 a1, right? Because like here it is a1, from a1 you multiply with w2, and then after adding bias and activation function, so you get a2. So for that reason I'm writing it like this. Similarly, the next one will be f3 w3 a2. Okay, so this is how your value is getting forwarded, and this is your output. So input is a naught, and output is a3, right? So this is your final output, right? So a3 is your final output. So your input is actually propagating this way, this way, this way, and finally you're getting output this way, right? So what you are doing from input, you calculate, this is a naught is equal, so then you calculate a1 a2 a3, and this is your output, right? So this is what we are doing. So we call this as forward propagation. So neural networks uses forward propagation for calculating its output. Okay, so but now thing comes. Okay, this is till here. I think it will be clear. So now let's see like how we'll calculate the loss and adjust weights here. Okay, so what we have is for every function, like finally, let's say this is your output, right? From the output, so you may think like output is y, is expected output, but what you got is a3 here, right? So a3 is your calculated, means like predicted. Let's say this is your expected output, this is predicted output. Okay, so now what will be the error or loss? You can have something like this, right? So like root mean square into like sum of y minus a3 square, means like actual minus predicted whole square. So this is what it is, right? So instead of writing like this, let's represent it simpler way. So let's talk it only for a single sample now. So half into y minus a3 square. Okay, so we can have it like this, right? So now what we'll do, like if you can remember, we'll be using gradient descent for optimizing, right? So you have a loss value here. For this loss value, what we have to do, like for every weight here, weight new, we have to update the weight by right, something like this. This is a formula what we use for gradient descent. So we have to subtract it because it is a descent, gradient descent. So descent means like decreasing, right? So it should be like negative, like here we have to subtract the gradient from there. So this is how, like this is a formula which we should be using for that. Let's see here, this is e, right? So here e is what, like half into y minus a3 square. So here we have a3 here, but a3 again is like this way. So a1 in a w3 a2, and again a2 is something like this, and a1 is something like this. So it is we actually need a differentiation with W, right? So we have to get value of W here. Okay, so that is how like it should be working. Okay, so what will happen is, so here, so let's in case if you have a derivative, okay, let's keep a derivative here with one of the variable, because like here you have like three weights. What weight you have? Like W1 you have, W2 you have, W3 you have. Okay, so what you'll be having is three equations here in this case. So W1 new equal to W1 volt minus alpha into dE by dW1. Similarly for the other cases as well. Here 2 volt minus dE by dW2 3. Okay, so we have to do three kind of differentiations here. So one with W1, one with W2, one with W3. So let's go with like simpler one, like W3 is you have like here, right? So let's go with W3 first, and then let's go calculate like W2 and W1 as well. So okay, so and one more thing here, let's say this is your E, right? So E is half y minus a3 square. So how, while you differentiate dou E by dou W3, so this half like it is like x square, right? And this is a constant. Actual value which will vary is only this with respect to W. So what you have here is something like this. So square, when you square like this square and 2 like x square derivative is 2x, so half and the 2 will get cancelled. So y minus a3 into, and what you have next is a3 by w3. Okay, so this is what you have it here. Now what we should be doing is we have to represent this a3 in the form of w3, so that this differentiation term we can calculate. Okay, so let's do that. Equal to y minus a3 into a3, like if you can remember from previous cases, what we have is a1 a2 a3. Let's take these, like these values are very much needed. So a3 is function of w3 a2. Okay, so let's go here. Dou by dou 3 of what is a3? A3 is function of w3 a2. Okay, so f3 w3 a2. For this we have to do a differentiation into like see, this is a function. If you want to differentiate, you have to use f dash. So what function it is, like we have to first differentiate that function with w3, and next like inside what is available, for that we have to differentiate with w3. So w differentiation of like w3 a2 with w3 is just a2, right? So finally we got it. So w3 is like a minus a3 into f dash 3 w3 a2. So let's keep it like this into a2. So just for our convenience, actually what will happen is for the next cases we will be getting this value again and again. So I am calling it delta 3 to make it very simple. Okay, so what you have finally is dou by dou w3 equal to delta 3 x2 dash. So this is our final formula, which we can use it here to get the new w3. Okay, similarly like let's now try it for w2. Okay, so just to differentiate between those, let me keep a mark here. Okay, so now here, now what is like with respect to w2, right? So what is e again? Like w3 is this one. So similarly y minus a3 into dou a3 by w2. Now what you get is this way. So because this is a e value, for this e value, now you are differentiating. Previously you are differentiated with w3. Now we are doing it with w2. So now this will be our output, right? So next what we are doing is, let's y minus a3 into, let me do it quickly. Like a3 is again, what is a3? f3 w3 a2. Similarly a2 is f2 w2 a1. a1 is f1 w1 a0. Okay, so using this, now a3 with respect to w3 will be like f3 dash w3 a2 into, we have to differentiate with what, w3 a2, but we w3 is there here and it is w2. So while you are partial differentiation, this looks like constant, but a2 previously like it is independent of w3, but now a2 is like w with respect to w2, it has a relation, right? So let's use that relation into I'm substituting the value of a2 here. w3 we can keep it outside, so no worry with that. w3 into, so a2 instead of dou by dou w2 of instead of a2, what we can write is f2 of w2 a1. Okay, so taking that a minus, see, like if you can see this part is here, right? So if you can see that part is here. Okay, so what we can do is that part, we, as I told before, like we are replacing with delta 3. Let's write delta 3 instead of writing it again and again into, now what is the value for this? So it is like f dash, first we have to write f dash, and then with respect to that one it is a1. Okay, so again you can call this as delta 2. What you have finally is delta 2 a1. So sorry, why did I write this? So in terms of the matrix, it will be a transpose over here. So this is the final equation. Let me quickly write the same for w1 as well. So it will be same process, like it just like gets repeated again and again, nothing different. Only the final result here is important to us. So y minus a3 into d by a3 of w1. So which will be, I'll quickly jump to the final output. Like it will be same as this. Like let me calculate it quickly and then add it here. Okay, so f3 here. So actually we can refer the previous one and then just add it, w1 of w3 a2. Similarly, y minus a3 f3 w3 a1 into, here it is okay, what is it? Now it is with a1 by w1 of f2 w2 a1 y minus a3 into, this we can call it like delta 1 3, right? So then here again w2 into f dash f2 dash of w2 a1 into a1 again we have to write it like previously. So let's call into a0. So let's call this entire feature as delta 1, and so finally what you get is delta 1 into a0. just like that, like we have the transport because it's a matrix multiplication. So like for getting it the matrix multiplied, so we use the transpose before. So if you can summarize this thing, like let's write all the equations what we have here. So starting with W3, what we have is, so delta 3 A2 transpose. Similarly, if you look at delta derivative dou E by dou W2, so we have 2A1 transpose, and then if you have by that one, delta 1 A not transpose. If you can see here, like what we can observe is, like for like calculating W3, like we are depending it on like W2, which was like A2, which was the input of a previous layer, right? So, and similarly for calculating W2, we are depending on A1, which was the output of previous layer. Similarly for W1, we are depending on A0. So if we can remember, write it like this. So for W3, we are looking at A3, A2, and for A2, like which was W2, which was a weight which will multiply with A2, we are looking at A1. And for here at W1, which we use it at A1, we are depending on like A0, right? So this is the kind of dependency here for calculating the like loss functions. So for calculating the gradient, what we are doing is, like we are depending on a previous layer's outputs. So what is happening is, like let's say a layer 1 here, layer 2, 1 layer 2, layer 3. So for calculating loss, like for weights here, so we are depending on the variable over here. And for calculating the weights of the layer at this layer, we are depending on outputs of this layer. And similarly for this, like we are depending on this. So what is happening here is, like we are doing a backward, going backward to get the data for calculation of weights, right? So we call this method as a back propagation. Okay, so because we are moving backwards for calculation of gradients, we call this method as back propagation. So if we can recall from slightly earlier, like the topic which we have discussed here. So here for calculation of output, we are going forward, like from A to A1, like, and then A to A1, and then A2 and A3, and finally the output, right? So we are moving forward over here. So we call it like forward propagation. Similarly, for calculation of gradients, we are moving backward from the output. We are going back, like calculating like A2, A1, A0, something like this. Okay. So, or similarly, you can change the notation. So this is how, like we are going backwards for calculation of gradients. So we call this as back propagation. So this is regarding back propagation. We use this concept for every neural network, as well as like further, if you extend these neural networks again to for much advanced networks. So like in deep learning